before we begin. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you, all the participants. I hope I'm audible. Please confirm, Preeti ma'am or
Yes,
Rajeshwari.
Rupa, you are audible.
Thank you, ma'am. So, hello, everyone. I'm Rupa from Eschan Publishing. We proudly present to all of you today's webinar series, specially curated for our pre-primary educators. So, yesterday we had one. Today, there is this another one, which is very special. This webinar would be taken by our expert, Ms. T. Rajeshwari, who will be enlightening us about a very important question which comes to everybody's mind, especially the educators of pre-primary, how to manage mixed ability in large classroom. So this would be 1 hour session from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. IST. Before we begin the session, let me welcome and introduce to you today's expert, Ms. Rajeshwari ma'am. Very warm welcome, ma'am, to the session. Rajeshwari ma'am is an early childhood education specialist. Currently, she is heading and supporting early years program development and execution department for Scolaire Education Services, Hyderabad. She holds diploma from University of Cambridge International Examination in teaching methodology and an MBA in education management. She has a postgraduate diploma in early childhood education, post-graduation in HRM, MPhil in commerce, and so she's authorized assessor for Quality Accreditation Audits through the Quality Council of India, which is associated with NABET, National Accreditation Board for Education and Training. So dear participant, let me tell you a few rules for the day. As you all know, you might be joining webinars for quite a good number of times now. So participants will be muted throughout the entire session. Please ensure that you have a pen and a paper to note important information. The chat box will be enabled during the Q&A round, question and answer round, and disabled for the rest of the session. For e-certificate, this is very important. We keep on getting the questions regarding this. For e-certificate, teachers must fill out a feedback form to receive their e-certificate. After the session, the feedback form will be sent to your registered email ID. With this, I hand over this platform to our expert. To you, Rajeshwari ma'am, very warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, team.
I'll share the screen.
Is my screen visible, Rupa?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening, everybody. How are you all? Quickly in your chat box, I request everybody to just pen down one challenge your pre-primary learners are facing in today's pre-primary classroom. Can you quickly pen down one point, that is one challenge your pre-primary learners are facing in your classroom?
We are getting the answers. Spelling errors.
Yeah, Rupa, I wanted you to list out those, please. Yeah, Rupa, can you please list out?
Yes, some people they are saying shy children, how to control, shouting children, not listening, involvement of children. Reading and writing is also a question. Attention span, most of them are talking about attention span,
Okay.
concentration,
Okay.
spellings,
Okay.
and listening,
Right.
attention seeking,
Okay. The learners
and
are
short.
wanting for attention. Okay.
Yes. How to control always shouting children, and writing ability,
Okay.
involvement of complete classroom,
Okay.
and concentration is most of their concern.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, teachers. Thank you, audience. Let's see what is the main objective of this webinar on the topic managing the mixed ability learners in the large classroom. So here we will be trying to understand the different types of learners whom we are dealing with, and then let's understand what are the needs that our learners, our preschoolers have for the age 3.5, 4.5, and the 5.5 years learners. What are the needs they demand, and what are the different what do you call challenges the mixed classroom has, and what are the what do you call how we need to understand how to apply, or what are the different approaches that we need to build in, the strategies that we need to build in. So these are the things that we will be covering in this 40, that is in this 60 minutes webinar, right? Now, when we talk about the types of learners in our pre-primary classes, yes, we would see there are learners who are unconscious incompetent, which means they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do. See, most of the nursery kids, they don't know why the purpose of, see, they just come to school, they just sit in the class, they don't know what they are supposed to do, how they are supposed to do, why the teacher is trying to ask me to do this, do this. There are many newcomers in your class who would be just clueless about what the teacher is expecting, right? There are few conscious incompetent learners, like they know that they are supposed to do, but they don't know how to do. Especially when you give homeworks for the learners, and imagine those learners who don't have the support at their family friend, like more might be there are first generation learners, or the learners who parents are completely occupied in their what do you call might be they are completely into their profession, they hardly invest time to support the learners. So it means these type of learners would definitely, they will struggle, and they do know that they have to complete the work, but they don't know how to complete the work. And there are conscious competent learners in our class where they know what to do and they don't know how to do. They are the learners who are smart, who are active, they are very curious, and they accept, agree challenges. And there are few learners in our class who doesn't know, that is, they are conscious, unconscious competent. It means they themselves, they don't know that they have this ability. Like, say, for example, they are good in art, they are good in speaking, they are good in singing, they are good in drawing. So until unless an opportunity is given to them, they are clueless about what are the things that they are good at. So it means it is we teachers, we need to pull out those talent out. So we need to invest time. And that is the reason at the beginning of the year, it's very important that the teachers conduct a readiness program to establish to observe the class, ensuring that who is good in what are the difficulties they have, they're checking their background, checking their linguistic challenges. All these things would help in the beginning of the year for the teacher to understand who are all unconscious incompetent, conscious incompetent, conscious competent, and unconscious competent learners. Right. Now, coming back to the needs of our learners. Now, when we talk about the needs, now, what does the term need means? It means what are the things that the child at the pre-primary level, the learners who are just 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, do you believe that they have needs? Yes, of course. Like you and me, we have needs every day. We need something which will help us to be a right person to behave right, to participate right, to perform right. The same way, even the learners whom we are dealing with have their own needs. And let's see what are the different needs now. The first need is the biological needs, uh, which covers their regular safety, their right food, the type of clothing they wear, the type of respect, the type of what do you call the caring and the support that the environment is helping them. These are the basic biological needs that the learners at that age needs. And when we come to the next need, which is called the psychosocial needs, and then the egoistic needs. Let's see what are psychosocial needs, which means the very first need under psychosocial needs are children at this age who are just 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5. Imagine the learners whose parents are working, or they hardly have time at home, or the learners who right from their age one are taken care by the daycare facility, where they are missing their parent time and other things. These type of learners need love and affection. So it means they expect somebody to talk nice. They expect somebody to talk to them with the kind words. They expect somebody to take care of what are their needs, immediate needs. Sometimes you would see the learners would be having cough, cold, fever. They are forced to come to school with a tonic bottle, and they don't know how to express. They will behave cranky. For them, it's like they expect a few words from the teachers that are you fine, or do you want something. So such type of kind words would definitely help them. And checking on what type of lunch they are getting, these things would definitely create a bond with the class for these type of learners. And when we talk about the need for approval, it means, see, generally children are very pure. They come with their natural way of expressing things. Sometimes you would see children doing something which they don't know that whether it is right or wrong. But as educators, as what do you call an informer, or as a teacher, as a mentor, as a guide in our respective classes, when we see learners doing something, the different tasks. Now, say, for example, a child who has seen a waste paper on the floor is picking up and putting it in the trash can. Or the child who is trying to walk in a straight line during the recess, the child who is trying to respect or using kind words. So it means the child need that approval from the facilitator, saying that, yes, what you did was right and you are observed. The actions that you're doing is agreed by me, and I'm happy for it. So these are the things that the child is expecting. Otherwise the child don't know whether he or she is doing right or wrong, right? And there are few things like the nurturance. It means learners, yes, the care, the respect, what we as educators, or we as elders, we expect from our environment. The same thing even the learners at that age, they expect. So it means they expect the right type of words. They expect the respect when somebody is addressing them, not just, oh, this child, he is an LKG child who's a duller. See, most of the time children hate labeling them. Children do not agree when they are biased, when they are not given opportunities. So nurturance are something which are the holistic part of their well-being, their being agreed, accepted, right? And there is a need for affiliation. It means the sense of helping them to understand, yes, these are the standards that you are supposed to, these are the words, these are the language that you are supposed to, and this is the place that you are supposed to sit, these are the things that you are supposed to use. So it means helping the learners to understand what are the things that they are agreed and accepted by the school environment. These are supposed to be communicated effectively at the beginning of the year. And then when we talk about the need for orientation, yes, it is very important for the learners to understand that what are the things that they are supposed to do and not supposed to do. It means what are the do's and don'ts should be oriented properly. Otherwise, these are the small ones who doesn't know. They behave the way their brain responds. So it's very important that the learners are being oriented properly, the way they are supposed to sit, the way they are supposed to handle the books, the ways they are supposed to, interact with others, the way they are supposed to participate. Everything should be oriented. Otherwise, how would they know? Right. And when we try to talk about the feeling of adequacy, it means uh, it is the natural tendency of everybody that yes, we have the thirst of wanting for some more. And the learners at this age, they need to be given that that feeling that yes, what you did is fine. This is more than enough of what you're doing. It's better that you are taking care and making them to understand. Yes, the things that you are using is so nice, so colorful. Rather than they are getting that depression that okay, the teacher is not using my because generally the teachers have the tendency of using the learners stationaries which is bright, which is colorful. Just imagine the learners who are just getting the very normal crayons or the normal clay during the activity time, and the teacher ignoring them and using the other learners whose crayons are bright, whose clays are really nice and other things. So what will happen to the learners who are getting the low quality? Or so it's very important how the teacher is making them to feel. It's rather the teacher can use her own stationery and making the child to feel like okay, what I brought to the class is more than enough, right? Rather than the child feeling low, the child feeling discomfort that why the teacher is not approaching me, why the teacher is not using my things. Got it, teachers? So it's very important how we try to balance these emotions, and especially helping the learners to understand, okay, I'm feeling fine, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling satisfied is what is important. So every time checking on the learner's feelings is also, it's very important job of a teacher. Now, say, for example, helping the learners to express their feeling for the different types of activities they are involved in the class. Like, say, for example, if they are, engaged in the art activity or in the written work or in the mathematical operations, how are they feeling? How are they? Are they feeling positive or are they feeling negative? So it's very important that we have an emotional chart in the class and helping the learners to express the feeling. Even the teachers can also communicate her feeling to the class, saying that yes, the teacher is happy today. The reason is all my young learners are beautifully working. The class is well maintained. The class is nice. The class is calm. The class is enjoying. So the teacher can also help the learners to understand what she is feeling in the class. Got it, teachers? So it's very important how we help our learners to express their emotion, which is the need of the hour. And then you can also make the learners to know their jobs, the different types of jobs they are supposed to. Like, say, for example, you can create some classroom jobs in the class so that they are becoming responsible students, or they are becoming the ideal students in the class by taking care of few of the simple activities like the bench leader, notebook distributor, or taking care of the cleanliness of the surroundings of their own benches. So the teacher can list out the different jobs for individual learners. So each learner will start feeling that responsibility. They feel that they are nurtured to groom themselves, to take some decisions, leadership quality. They will start developing that approval. Okay, what I'm doing is right, which has been agreed, which has been appreciated, and this is the way I have to behave. So these are the things that the learners should be given. That this type of stimulation environment should be supported by every class. Now, when we talk about the egoistic needs, yeah, the learners at this age, they are very pure and they come up with their own dominant intelligence, where they try to behave the way they are nurtured at the home environment, the way they are being trained, the way they are helped to connect with the environment they are related with. So the moment they come to the class, yes, sometimes there are few learners who would have the need to dominate. They wanted to show, they wanted to say that, yes, I wanted this. It's okay, but the way the teacher orients them is very important, right? And then we need to know, because there are few learners who gets irritated when somebody falls behind and say, do this, do this, do this. Most of the learners don't. Even you and me will not agree if somebody is coming and keeping a bullet on your head and saying that you have to do only like this. Then we will say, who is she to tell us? The same way, even the learners whom we are dealing with, they feel like, I know what I'm doing. Let me do my work. Let me try to do it. So it means it is very important that we try to give that space for the learners to have the try, rather than we always trying to question them, rather than we always try to instruct them, do like this. Allow them to express the way they want it. Allow them to take up the challenge so that they will know what are the areas that they are needing for a support, or what are the areas that they are very strong. It's very important that they reflect among their activities. And then there are few learners who would crave for their achievements. It means they wanted to show that they have done it. They wanted the identification, that is the identity in the class. They feel like they wanted to grab everything. Now, say for example, when you engage the class with some block activity or some manipulative activities, and there are few learners who wanted to complete the work faster and to show. It's okay, they behaving like that, but how the teacher makes such the learners to be a part and to be a support, or to be a peer assessor for the others to work the way he or she has completed the task. This would definitely help most of the learners to develop that aesthetic appreciation, rather than the child, a child who has completed the task has been awarded or rewarded. Rather, instead of treating or biasing the class, the teacher can make these achievers to become the part of the others' work completion. So this type of class would definitely make the class to behave, that is, have an equal standard. And the teacher will see that every child is being given equal opportunity, right? And there are few learners who have the thirst of acquiring, that is, they wanted everything and anything which is happening around. It means sometimes if you make them to play, or if you make them to participate in the task, there are few learners who try to grab the material and they wanted to show that they alone have to grab. So for such type of learners, initially allowing them and slowly gradually inducting them that their performance is monitored, and slowly correcting their participation, their behavior through your right words, helping them to understand it's important that others are also supposed to involve. So group activities type of culture would definitely help these type of learners to slowly disconnect with acquisition and slowly try to have a collaboration in the group. Now, coming back to the cognizance, the need for cognizance, there are few learners in our class who would be having a thirst of asking question, why it is, what it is, how it is. They have the thirst of knowing what is happening around. So it's very important that the teachers are trying to help, support, take time to respond to their curiosity, helping them to understand that, yes, the teacher need time to respond, to give them. So it's very important the teacher is trying to connect with such type of curious learners by responding them positively. And there are few learners who would always seek attention from the teacher. It means they try to stand near to you. They always try to try to pull your face and say, teacher, I have done it. And there are few learners who try to complete their work faster and try to get your appreciation. So it means these are the learners who always seek attention. It is okay they behaving, but how we are trying to connect these type of nature by helping them to say, okay, now you have done it right, so very good. Now come on, go back to so-and-so group and help them the way you have completed. Let them also do the work the way you have done it nicely. So automatically these type of learners will slowly try to involve, slowly try to cater their knowledge to the others, transform their knowledge to others, their type of skills to the others. So this will to slowly establish a collaborative learning experience. There are few learners who would have the need for destruction. It means they try to destroy, they try to what you call break, they try to what you call grab things. They wanted to show their destruction because might be the single child at home have everything and anything at home, and once they come back to the class they would definitely show that crankiness, and they would try to definitely try to grab the things. So here the right words, the positive orientation, the way the teacher communicates that such and such behavior is not agreed, such and such behavior is monitored, and these are the things that these are the response or the reaction that the group would show if this behavior is being there. So the teacher orienting, helping the child to understand the negative behavior is being monitored, observed, and thereby the teacher can try to slowly mellow down these type of learners, because abruptly punishing them or abruptly using negative words would definitely create a negative emotions in the child's mind. So it's very important to handle such type of egoistic needs in your class. Now, these type of appreciation charts can be handled in your class, where every child's performance, participation, and the behavior is being monitored, observed, and it's been acknowledged. So children will slowly try to connect with the classroom standards. They will start realizing what are the do's and the don'ts, what are the things that they are supposed to be, performing, what are the things that they have to ignore, what are the things that they have to leave outside the classroom, what are the culture that they are supposed to exhibit, what are the habits that they have to cultivate, what are the likes and the dislikes that the teacher is expecting in the class. All these things can be transformed in the class, the way the teacher try to communicate these things and acknowledging the behavior using the appreciation chart in the class. Generally, now say for example, if so and so child is eating, is not spilling the food, is trying to complete the work on time, is trying to support others, is walking on the straight line, is not trying to touch others, or is trying to mind his own work, is trying to help every time his friends. So the teacher identifying all these behavior and trying to acknowledge these positive behavior to the whole class, saying that yes, so and so child has done it so well, and this is the award for the child. So automatically the rest of the class will start observing and start trying to correct themselves so that next time they get such type of rewards. Got it, teachers? So it's very important how you communicate, how you make the class accept such type of challenges. Now, the learners of your class should know when to and what to, when to talk and what to talk, when are the what is the time that they are supposed to, and what is the time they are not supposed to talk. And such type of agreements, classroom agreements, would definitely help the teacher to have a positive classroom. Now, the teachers, yes, like you and me, we have expectations. The same way, even the learners would have the expectations. So definitely the teacher need to convey what she is expecting in the class. And the moment you see that the learners, while they are participating, while they are performing, when they are trying to accommodate all your expectations, why not giving them, why not to avoid giving them a high five? So it's very important that class agrees to all the behavioral traits that the teacher is expecting, but provided the teacher communicates it to the class effectively. It's very important. Got it, teachers? Now, the importance of managing the mixed ability in the pre-primary classroom. So the first and foremost thing that we need to understand is the inclusive education. It means every child has a right to access quality education, and managing mixed ability ensures that every student in the class is being accepted in the learning process. And by adopting mixed, that is by accommodating mixed ability, we are trying to support individualized learning. It means in the pre-primary classrooms, you will be having diverse learning needs and the styles of learners. It means by managing mixed ability, the teacher can provide individualized instructions, the adopting right teaching methods, using the right materials or the resources, and using the right pace of instruction for supporting the needs of your learners, rather than teacher using the generalized instruction. Teacher knowing that, okay, so and so children are needing these type of, so your stepwise instruction, your stepwise procedure is more important, so that the learners will start accepting your classroom transaction. And it is important that the learners are enhanced in the expected learning outcome. It means when the students individual needs are addressed. Now, say for example, so and so child, his or her background is not what do you call, might be there are learners whose age is not supporting, or there are learners whose stage is not supporting to the type of activity you design. So the teacher trying to accommodate the learning outcomes according to the ability and the interest of the learners would definitely help the learners to improve or to involve properly. And the teacher trying to support the socio-emotional development. It means making the learners, what do you call, understand what are the do's and the don'ts, and trying to understand the self of belonging, giving the positive interactive statements. Thereby, the child is knowing that, yes, these are the things which is agreed in the class. These are the things which is not agreed in the class. And teacher engaging the class with the age appropriate and the stage appropriate. Now, say, for example, when I talk about the stage appropriateness, see, generally, the teachers have the misconception that the children's fine muscle should be, what do you call, through your developmental activities, they should hold the pencils or the crayons at the beginning of the month. It is not like that. See, there are few learners who would be having a different stage of development. It means the complete elbow, that is the complete hand movement, and then the elbow movement, then the wrist movement, then the palm movement, and the fist movement. These are the different stages for their fine muscle development, rather than you targeting directly on their fist control. This is highly impossible. Though some of the learners are 5 years old, still if they have their developmental delays, definitely they would not be the matured performer in holding their fist control. So it's very important teacher at the beginning of the year is observing which stage the child is, whether the child needs the complete hand movement, or the child has the proper elbow control so that is able to hold things right, and then proper fist control so that the child is able to position the things and follow the directions properly, and then the palm control where the child is able to hold things right. Because you would see there are few learners who will take what you call it, who will have a very immature way of holding the crayon or the pencils. They will the material will be dangling with them. So these type of learners would definitely need lots of what you call focused activities. Otherwise, you challenging them with the what you call structured activity definitely disturb their emotions. Got a teacher. So it's very important how you observe their stages and do the give the age appropriate the stage appropriate activities. And managing mixed ability learners in your class will also prevent marginalization. It means ensuring that none of the learners are left behind. It means involving the whole class equally. The teacher distributing her attention to the whole class without creating, without labeling or without biasing. And nobody is made to feel alone or left behind. Everybody's participation is being acknowledged, agreed, and is being monitored, and the positive feedbacks are given. And by managing mixed ability pre-primary classrooms, we can also build self-confidence among the learners, so that the learners will start appreciating the way the teacher connects, the way the peers are supporting them, the way the classroom situation is helping them, the way the school is trying to support. So that will make the learners to come regularly. They will not hate the schooling experiences. And these type of managing mixed ability learners will definitely help to prepare the future education. It means the foundation years are the proper, what you call, channel for the learners to develop the confidence. They teachers equipping such students would definitely help them to navigate what to that is their future educational environment. It means these pre-primary strong foundational courses would definitely help the pre-primary learners to have a proper navigation for their primary content. Now, when we talk about the challenges that the teachers face in the large pre-primary classrooms, are the teacher face problem in addressing individual learners and effective classroom management, because most of the time the teachers would feel that there is a discipline problem because the class would be noisy, the class would take and moreover if the large classroom accommodate some activities with regard to hands-on experience, teacher would definitely hesitate to accommodate such type of activities, because they would have the fear of noisy classroom or indisciplined classroom. So better they will accommodate them something to writing or something for them to just work by their own, so that the teacher would not invest much time in controlling the class. And most of the time the teachers face to use differentiated instruction. The reason is might be the teacher is unaware how to accommodate differentiation instructions, or might be the teacher would feel like it is an extra effort to plan different learning, that is to plan activities to accommodate different learning styles or different preferences. And it would be what do you call investing, that is it would be taking most of the teacher's time. So that's the reason the teacher would avoid conducting the differentiated instructions in the class. And then most of the time, if the classroom is large, teacher tend to what do you call mellow the assessments or the giving feedback. Rather, she would try to complete the portions, and she would accommodate to go to the next level, rather than assessing the learners where they have to improve, what they have to do, and giving them the constructive feedback, because the teacher feels the limitation of the time to track the individual progress or to provide feedback to individual learners. And that is the reason most of the time you would see half of the class would perform low, or the class would not meet the expected standards. And sometimes there are challenges even with regard to the space, because most of the time you would see the movement of the teacher would be very minimal because of the space limitation in the class. So the teacher is not mobile, the teacher is not able to see or observe what the learners in the corner benches are tracking, or what they are engaged with, and how they are participating or how they are performing. And that would be the major challenges in the large classroom. And communication and parental involvement is the biggest challenge, because how many individual learners, parents the teacher can what do you call accommodate for the given time. And the teacher also has her own personal time. So communication and making the parents understand would be again a time taking process for the most of the teachers, and thereby they ignore communicating to the parents about where the child stands and what are the difficulties the learners are experiencing. And sometimes even personalization of the learning, where the teacher trying to tailor make the learning experience to the individual needs and the interest becomes might be it becomes more difficult in the larger classroom because it can be challenging, or it can create opportunities for the students to explore their own interests and passions. But unfortunately, because of the time constraint, the teacher is unable to accommodate the personalized trainings. And then the time management is also a biggest what you call crucial constraint, because allotting sufficient time to the individual ability, or conducting activities which would create what do you call the individual interest of the learners would definitely consume so much of time, and it requires lots of planning, lots of organization skills, and the teacher need to carefully accommodate all these things. So it's very difficult for the teacher to expert the time. And there are what do you call the differentiating assessments is also impossible in most of the time if the classroom is large, because organizing assessment patterns according to their needs, individual needs. Say, for example, I, as a learner, if I'm interested in drawing rather than saying, and the teacher is not giving me an opportunity to draw rather than, because I'm not comfortable to use the right words and sentences, but the teacher expects only the common assessment, or she gives only the common. So this is because the teacher is not having the time, and my performance is becoming low there. Right. And collaboration and the group work, facilitating such type of collaborative experience to the learners is becoming a biggest challenge in most of the cases, because teacher ensuring equal opportunity, managing the group dynamics, all these skills are somewhere is lacking in most of the cases, because the teacher wanted to complete the syllabus rather than ensuring the learning most of the time. And this is influencing a negative impact in the class, where most of the learners fail to meet the classroom standards or the grade level expectations. Right, teachers? Now, when we try to talk about understanding the mixed ability, first and foremost thing is, let's try to understand the academic ability of the learners. It means students in the pre-primary classrooms exhibit the range of ability. It means some may be already having some of the foundational experiences, like there are educated parents at home who would invest some time in helping the learners find muscle, or even to communicate for the post question in the class. So it means the teacher need to understand the background of the learners, what is the type of background the so-and-so child is coming from. Is this child coming from an educated parent background, or this child is a first generation? Until unless the teacher understands the academic, the teacher cannot be a good supporter for these type of learners. And some of the learners, they come up with their own social and emotional background. It means there are few learners who have well-developed social skills. They are quick, because might be the learners who come from the apartment culture, where they have so many friends in their apartments. There are few learners who come from the nuclear family, independent house, where they hardly have friends of their age. So these type of learners who have their own environmental background would definitely showcase some differences in the classroom situation. So as a teacher, we need to understand what type of environment they are coming from, and who are all good in socializing, and who needs still more support in socializing, who are having, that is, there are few learners who has the intrapersonal intelligence as a dominance, would definitely take time to adjust in the class, or to accommodate the activities that are group. Right. So here the teacher investing quality time is much important. And you can also see that there are few learners who would be having their own language proficiency. It means based on the parental linguistic background, you would see there are few learners who would respond to your communication in the class. There are few learners whose mother tongue is something different. Might be a child from South India who is getting settled in North India due to the parental transfer, another thing. So these now initially it will take time for those learners to engage, that is, involve, accommodate, or to understand even the teacher's language. So the teacher need to understand the language proficiency of the class. And then when we try to talk about the learning styles of the class, which is again very important, it means not all learners would have the same learning styles. It means we as a teacher, we need to understand what is the learning style that our class demands, whether most of the learners are visual, or the learners need the auditory support or the kinesthetic supports. It's better that the teacher use visual, auditory, and kinesthetic as an integrated approach that would help the class to be more meaningful. And if we talk about the interest and the talents, see, sometimes based on their interest intelligence, it means there are few learners, though they know what to talk, but they don't want to talk. You would see there are few learners who will be just sitting quietly. It doesn't mean that they don't know what to do, but they don't want to talk. It does. So the teacher should not underestimate such type of learners that they are slow or a non-participative type. Might be their interest level is like that. So engaging them, giving them that, what you call that trust to the learners is very important, so that their interests are being valued, their interests are being respected. So that's very important. And here the learners talent, until unless the teacher gives opportunity to the learners, the teacher cannot accommodate the talents in the class. So it means the teacher need to stabilize some hands-on, some activities, like say for example, after discussing about the topic, allowing the learners to express the way they wanted to. So here it's very important, the teacher allowing the learners to present or perform the way they are interested. Thereby you can see what talent they have. Are they good in talking? Are they good in drawing? Are they good in what do you call model making? What is that they are good at? So this would, by engaging the class according to their interest, would definitely make the class more meaningful. Now, when we talk about the special education needs, it means in the mixed ability classroom, definitely you would see some special education needs who require additional support and accommodation, which means these learners might come with the learning disabilities or some developmental delays, or they would have some sensory impairment, like some learners, especially in the what do you call, in the nursery classes, you would see they would have some sensory impairments, like they have the listening problem or speaking problem. So the early detection of such type of special needs is very, very important. Rather than labeling that the child is a non-participative child, try to understand why these learners are not participating and try to communicate the same to the parents, because might be that parents are unaware of such type of special needs of these type of learners. So by understanding the different ability, the different development, the proficiency and the styles and the interest of the class, definitely I think we teachers can support or accommodate the effective classrooms. Got it, teachers? And to reiterate about what is a mixed classroom, yes, we need to ensure that we need to know the academic abilities. It means different learners come from different backgrounds. So there are few learners, even if they are the LKG learners, they must be having some daycare experiences. There are few learners who would be having some extra inputs from their parents. So it's very important, we need to understand what are their achievements or what are their previous academic excellence, rather than treating them they are from the base. And we also need to understand what type of background, what type of economical background they are coming from, and what are the different situations. It means their environment background is also to be monitored by the teacher, so that the child's behavior is being treated right. And we also need to understand their language proficiency, their mother tongue, so that the communication would be very simple. And we should also accommodate the learning styles and the preferences. It means accommodating the class with the way the learners wanted. Now, rather than teacher using the auditory method alone, where you will be just focusing on the auditory learners. Instead, if the teacher is using visual, auditory and kinesthetic method as an integrated approach, we can support the preferences properly, so that the whole class is involved effectively. And addressing the special needs is also very, very important among the teachers, because if early detection and early support is not given, then we are becoming a sinners, because these children, once the stage is gone, then the delay is continuous. It is lifelong for them. So it's very important how we accommodate the special education. Now, when we talk about the types of mixed abilities, it means there are mixed abilities who are academic related, where they have the varied academic excellence, and they come up with a different language excellence, or they have there are few learners who must have experienced something in their local community and other things. So it's very important that the teacher is getting to know what is their previous experiences, and then we also need to understand their social background. It means the way they communicate, the way they try to interact, the way they are addressing with their peers. All these things need to be monitored, observed at the initial stage, so that we can accommodate, or we can transact, or we can communicate with them accordingly. And we also need to observe, that is, you will have the learners whose behavior will be different again. So it depends upon the type of family they are coming from. Might be the child coming from a nuclear family's behavior would be different. The child coming from the joint family's behavior would be different. The child coming from an uneducated family background would be different. So now, according to the background, according to the, now say for example, there are parents who are overprotective parents. There are parents who are, what do you call, least concerned about. So you would see that there are few parents who are problematic also. They, according to their behavior, that influences the learners in the class. So now say, for example, a parent who always keep complaining about the school, who talks negative about the teacher, who talks always negative about the activities in the school, the child keeps listening all these things, and that influence the child's participation in the school. So it's very important the teacher observing the words, their participation, their performance in the class, right? And the benefits of managing mixed ability is, definitely the teacher is going to enhance the learning outcomes of all the students in the class by catering individual differences, by understanding their background, by understanding their behavior, by understanding the culture they are coming from, by understanding what are their basic needs. The teacher can accommodate effective activity which will cater individual differences. Thereby, the teacher can enhance the expected learning outcomes from the whole class. And by managing mixed ability, by having an effective art of managing the whole class, the teacher can foster the positive and inclusive classroom environment rather than biased classroom, rather than having what you call marginal classroom. The teacher can use teacher can foster an effective positive learning environment, so that the whole class is involved, the whole class is liking the environment in the class, that the whole class will show an effective participation, a meaningful learning experience in their class. All right. And the benefit of managing the mixed classroom would also develop the individualized support for the students' need. It means by understanding the students' background, by understanding the language competency, by understanding their special needs, by understanding what is their interest, what is their preferences, the teacher can accommodate individual support. Thereby, every student's needs are being catered by the teacher. Now, when we try to talk about the strategies that the teacher can adopt for managing effective classroom is, first and foremost thing is the teacher can use differentiated instruction. It means tailoring the teaching method. It means the teacher trying to handle the effective teaching method which is accommodating the diversified learners' needs. It means, say for example, there are few learners who would not understand your instruction in English. It means using the campus language and also the language which the learner wanted to. so that the child is understanding your instruction and trying to start working according to the expectation. So it means how the teacher is accommodating according to the needs of the learners is very, very important. Now, there are few learners who can complete 10 exercises within 10 minutes, but not all learners would be able to accommodate all the 10 exercises. It means giving such type of learners who face challenges to complete 10 exercise within 10 minutes. It means giving within that 10 minutes, let them complete at least 3 to 4, so that they will feel like, okay, they will not feel that pressure. Oh my God, I should complete this within this time. Got a teacher. So it's very important how the teacher is trying to tailor make her approach towards the learners so that the whole class is accommodated effectively, so that no child is feeling that pressure of participation, right? And it is always the classroom would be meaningful and engaging if the teacher is catering small group activities rather than the large group activities, because in the small group activities where the group activities are in rotation, the teacher can observe the individual participation of each group, and then she would know like who is good in what, who is showing interest, where is the challenge the child is facing. Is the child is really struggling hard in understanding, or the child really struggling in the fist control or the motor movement? Where is the child needed support? Is the child good in this, or the child needed support in this? So accommodating small group activity and giving activities according to their interest would definitely help. And slowly allowing the learner to, come on, let's, okay, now you did this, right? Come on, can you try this also? So slowly helping them. Even I do, we do, and you do strategy would also help these small group, that is, help the learners to, what do you call, enable the effective participation. And one more important strategy that the teacher can accommodate in the class is peer tutoring, allowing the learners to tutor their peers rather than, see, children are the best tutors for their own peers rather than the teacher teaching. Sometimes children learn better through the shortcuts with their peers. They will learn so nicely. So it's very important that the teacher allowing the small groups to have a peer tutoring. One in the group, if he or she completes the work, encouraging that is that child to go support the other child. Likewise, those who have completed the work, let them get up from their place, go support those learners who are struggling or who are taking time to complete, so that at one point you would see there is a collaboration, there is a learning among the class, and you will see the classroom will have a similar standards. So the whole class would have a meaningful classroom, and the class would start developing that aesthetic feeling that, wow, my classroom, wow, my teacher helps me, my friends help me whenever I struggle. Oh, this is my class which I always love to be with. So this is how you would definitely create a positive learning environment if you start accommodating differentiation instruction, small group activity, and encouraging peer tutoring in your class. Now, when we try to talk about classroom organization and environment, it's very important how the teacher arrange the classroom so that every corner in the class is being rightly set. Like there should be a language corner, math corner, science corner, rhyme corner. There should be a corner which would help the learners to know their participation is being encouraged in the appreciation corner. They should know where they have to, express their feeling in the emotion corner. So it's very important. The classroom culture is well established and every corner is being well transacted by the teacher so that the classroom would be more organized. And creating flexible seating arrangement is also equally important, where the children can keep moving rather than imagine the child sitting from 9 to 12:30 in one place without movement. What would happen to the condition of such type of classroom? Rather, giving scope for them to have a group seating arrangement, small group activities. So let the class have always a flexibility for movement so that you will see that there is a good social social skill, emotional bonding, and there is a physical development, the creative skills, the children, when they are moving around, when they are trying to explore the classroom with the different activities, definitely there will be a logical, there will be language developments, and there will be social skills, there will be communication. They will develop the confidence in them, right? And when the teacher is trying to display the different visual aids, different learning resources in the class, which is easily accessible for the, now say for example, the child wanted to do a role play, the child going to the puppet corner, picking up the puppet and trying to participate, perform. It's very important that the teacher trying to accommodate such type of classroom engagements by supporting the class with the different learning resources, so that the child is free to pick up the different materials and to perform.
Ma'am has lost the connection.
Audience, you are requested
Excuse
to
me.
stay tuned. We are just connecting with the trainer.
Meanwhile, you can post your questions to the chat box. I can see a few hands were raised during the meeting. So you can very well type your questions in the chat box. Ma'am has already covered a lot of things from which you can ask your questions. Thank you. For certificates related query, you can raise to your respective manager who is coming to your school. However, if you have registered it properly, you would be getting your certificates. We would request all of you to stay tuned till ma'am is back. We'll have a question answers round very soon. We appreciate some of the very good questions coming up in the chat box. We would request all of you to post your queries related to pre-primary. Meanwhile, I'll just inform all of you. We'll be having session 3 on 21st of July, right? And which will be based on documenting and communicating assessment in foundational literacy and numeracy. So a very important session. I would request all the pre-primary teachers to get themselves registered. And there would be another session, session 4 on 22nd July, the power of manipulatives in foundational literacy and numeracy. So stay tuned with us till our expert is back, and we would request some questions.
Rajeshwari ma'am is back with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yeah. So am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, but put it on slideshow, please.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
did. Yeah. So when we talk about the classroom management techniques, establishing the clear expectation from the learners of what to do, how to do, and what are the different routines that they are expected to complete the given task is very important. Until unless we communicate to our learners effectively, the class cannot understand what to do, how to do, and why to do. It's very important the teacher communicating it effectively using the simple and meaningful information. Your instruction should be simple and it should be age appropriate, and using positive reinforcements and rewarding them frequently would definitely motivate your learners effective participation. So most of the learners don't know why they are supposed to do, right? If they complete their task because you have given them, but they need to know the purpose. Why? What is the reward that they will be getting if they behave right? So it means they need to understand the importance of behaving right by your rewards, and addressing the behavioral challenges actively is very important. So it means whenever the learners are having, because as I informed you before, the need for distraction, the need for attention, if their needs are not satisfied, definitely you would see there will be a reflexive behavior of the learners. So addressing their behavioral right rather than punishing them, motivating them, encouraging them, making them to reflect on their behavior is very important. Talking to them that yes, these type of behavior would affect, so these type of behavior will not be agreed, these type of behavior is appreciated. So make the learners understand rather than punishing them. Got it, teachers? So then when we come up with the different strategies that the teacher is supposed to, the collaborative learning strategy is something which is very important for the teacher to accommodate. So cooperative learning activities is something very important rather than giving them individual activities. Even if it is a worksheet activity, even if the work demands individual, it is very important that the teacher trying to make the learners cooperate with each other so that the learner know how much and how long the time is supposed to be used to complete the task, right? And group projects and presentation would definitely help the learners to meet their individual interest in it. Say for example, if the child who is an intra child who is in the group, definitely the inter child would force this intra child to participate, perform. The child who is logical, who doesn't want to interact much, definitely the linguistic child would help the group to use the right words and sentences. So definitely these type of group activity would help the learners to move from one intelligent to other intelligent. Thereby you would see a holistic approach in the class. Got it, teachers? And peer learning opportunity is something a must, so that you will see that the learners enjoy, share, communicate. Rather than expecting a silent classroom every time, it is very important that the learners are allowed to share, express. The need for expression is something very important for the age group whom we are dealing. Ultimately, what do they talk? They talk something what they like, what they experience, what they observed, what they wanted to imitate. It means ultimately they are trying to use their language, their logical, their observation skill, their imitation skills. Thereby whatever they have experienced, they are trying to communicate present the way they are interested to showcase. So it's very important how the teacher try to allow the learners to enjoy their pure learning opportunities. And when we try to talk about the individualized learning plans, it is very important how the teacher identifies individual strengths and weaknesses and accommodate activity. Okay, so and so child is good in this, but needs improvement in these. So until unless the teacher identifies and accommodates activity according to the child will not have a meaningful learning experience in the class. So it's very important the teacher identifying the strength of the child and the weaknesses of the child. We cannot just keep saying that I don't have time. Rather, try to invest little bit of time to understand, yes, so and so child is good in talking, communicating, but needs improvement in the fine muscle development. So let me involve this child in in working in still more fine muscle developmental activity. Yeah, this child is good in communicating, but needs improvement in logical, because he keeps talking anything and everything, but doesn't know how to communicate properly. So understanding the individual strengths would definitely help the learning goals for each student. Yes, you are supposed to. Let's all complete this rather than you are supposed to. Making the whole class to know what they are supposed to. So the teacher using the language like let's all complete rather than say you have to complete. So here making the class aware of what are the things that they are supposed to follow, what are the things, how much time they have to take, what are the resources that they have to use. So setting the classroom goals and making each student aware of what they are supposed to do and how they are supposed to do would definitely help the class to be effective participants. Right? And tracking the progress and providing personalized feedback. It means tracking on individual learners, the teacher movement, the teacher class observation, the teacher trying to check on the ongoing progress of the learners, where the child was on the first day of the schooling, and what is the progress that the child is progressing based on their language, based on their participation, based on the behavior, and what are the areas that the child has improved, what are the areas the child needs support. So these things should be tracked and should be communicated effectively so that the child would become a meaningful performer. Got it? And communicating with the parents and guardians is also very important. Regular communication about the student's progress is supposed to be, it should be a mandate in your classroom structure. At least at the beginning of the year, communicating with them, even the food habit, what the child is. See, now sometimes the parent tend to send layers and layers of different box and wanted everything to be done in the school. So communicating them that the school is meant for the holistic part where the learners are supposed to be engaged in different activities rather than investing much time in just completing the tiffin box. So the parent should be informed properly about the quality of the food that the child need to carry rather than the quantity of the food. So it's very important how effectively we communicate to the parents about the students, and then where are the areas that the child is good at and where are the areas the child need to improve. All these things should be communicated. And seeking parental involvement, it means making the parent understand what are the things that the areas that the child need to improve and what are the areas that the teacher can support, so that the stage of the child is being monitored rather than the stage age, because most of the time the parent tend to compare their children with the others. There might be age gap or the stage gap. So the parent need to understand it is not important to compare, rather the support is important. Got it, teachers? And collaborating with the parents and addressing the individual needs is also very important. And last but not the least, it is also important that the teacher need to take care of herself. It means, yes, when it is a large group, you would definitely experience some stress, workloads with different planning of different activities, supporting them, handling different types of parents. Please stay calm. keep your work stress low, and try to find the root cause of the problems that you face every day, and try to bring up different choices and the solutions and handle it right. And seeking support from your colleagues and administrator would also definitely help, rather than you bearing everything. Try to collaborate with your team and try to get support, and prioritize your personal well-being is also very important. Professionally, yes, we need to handle, but sometimes need to handle both personal and professional lifestyle. Teachers, do not over stress and worry your health, because taking care of yourself is also equally important. Yeah, with this, I'm trying to end my session. And if you have any queries, I would request you to please pen down so that.
So all the participants are requested to, post your queries in the chat box, which is related for today's session or yesterday's session. And we would take up the query in next 5 minutes. All praises for you, ma'am. I've noted some of the query, ma'am, from my end. I'll just bring it here. If the classroom is small and don't have space, how can we make corners? What is the next best option? So I think you mentioned about making of corners. So
Yeah,
I wanted to ask if there is any other option, if the space.
See, it is again, no, sometimes it is not that the teacher has to restrict only inside the classroom. It is very, the teacher can use the resources which are available. The resources are the physical resources, like the playground. Sometimes you can take the class outside, right?
Yes,
So
nice
so that you will know, see, if you have the classroom restrictions, you can also try to create the classroom outside, take them to the ground, take them, if you have a tree, you can take the children, sit under the tree, have some nice story sessions, some nice rhyme sessions, night conversation there, and any writing task you can bring them back to the class. I think that's how you can, if you have the space restrictions in your school.
There is another question, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to know that what about those students who are not focused and not capable to understand what teacher teach, and tell me this is also what teacher will do when parents also do not support the teacher.
See here, it is not that the child is not understanding. See, why would the child not understand or not participate? It means somewhere their understanding gap, or somewhere the teacher approach towards the learners is not right, or the teacher not accommodating the class the way the child wanted to learn. Right, so here the teacher using simple language, sometimes going near to the child and making the child feel that comfort, a small pat on the child's shoulder. Yes, I am there, don't worry, do not do not have a fear of completing the task, I am there to support you. The teacher creating trust in the class would definitely motivate the child's effective participation.
Right, ma'am. Thank you for your inputs. There is one more concern coming up from a mother. She might be a mother from, child who is facing some difficulty. How do we make teacher more compassionate towards these children?
See here, ultimately the mother also need to keep talking good about the teacher. Every time talking nice about the teacher, every time talking nice about the school. The school is a place where you're always enjoying. Hope your teacher was so beautiful today. Hope your teacher gave you stars. Hope your teacher recited the rhyme so well, like the way I was teaching you. So the child will develop that positive feeling rather than a parent complaining about the school, parent complaining about the teacher, right? The moment the child comes home, the parent asking nice question where the child is trying to communicate all the day's activities positively. What was one thing that you loved today? What was one thing that was really nice in your class? Did you help your friend today? Did you enjoy today's lunch box? What was one thing that you did not like? So allowing the child to express would definitely make the child to feel comfortable, do a good expressions here.
Yeah, we'll take one or two more questions, ma'am, with
Yes,
your
ma'am.
permission.
Yes,
So
yeah.
there is one question related to children who are sitting in the classroom. They are quite expressive, but as soon as they are called in front of the class, they lose their confidence. So how to, manage such child and boost their confidence?
See, slowly these type of learners who doesn't have that confidence to come forward, who have the stage fear, definitely these are the intra learners who are initially shy, but slowly when you allow them to participate in small group activities and making them to be the group monitor and giving them some simple tasks and slowly making them to come forward, giving them the trust. Okay, you talk at least one word, it is okay whatever you talk. You try to prompt, teacher is there or your friend is there by the side of you, start. So giving that simple trust to the child's participation would definitely boost the child.
Right.
Rather than instructing you have to do it. So conditioning will not help those type of learners. They are, because these intrapersonal intelligence are emotionally very weak children. They cannot tolerate the strong instructions.
And you have spoken a lot about the emotional needs of the students in the session. It was really
Yes.
enlightening. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And one more question is like how to make kinesthetic student learn. I think there's
Here, scaffolding is something very important. The strategy what we tried to experience yesterday in our yesterday topic, I do, we do, and you do. So most of the time engaging the class, it's not that, see, most of the learners in our class are kinesthetic. It means they love learning by doing. And they need simple instructions and they need continuous layer wise instruction rather than a generalized instruction. Right now, say for example, when you ask, how did you spend your holiday? Now, after 2 days of the weekends, the child is coming back. Now, asking a general question, how did you spend your 2 days? Then auditory learner will definitely use some words, sentences. The visual learner or the kinesthetic learner would wait. The teacher expressing, okay, I went, even I did. Now, who are the people who are there at home? What did you do? Trying to come up with the different questions rather than the generalized question would make these kinesthetic learners to be a participant, right? And giving them simple instructions, stage-wise instruction rather than making them to expect to complete within one instruction would not motivate them. So it is very important the teacher uses continuous instruction for the kinesthetic learners to be a best performer.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your inputs. And I would request you to come on video. I think we are not able to see you.
Yeah, Rupa, that's what my video is already on, Rupa.
Okay, all right. No problem, ma'am. So I would just like to, thank you very much, ma'am, thank you for this session and so many points you touched upon. And very, very important point. Sometimes we, as a teacher, sometimes it gets forgotten, but then you listed it very nicely, especially the psycho-emotional needs of the children, collaboration. What is the importance of that collaboration and special need? I really like that point where you said that special need, if it is not detected in, when it is not taken care in the beginning, where teacher becomes it is so much of responsibility of job, and if you don't take care of it, it will go on for life. So we as a pre-primary teachers, it's so important for us to take care of all these things. So thank you so much, ma'am, for today's beautiful session. very,
My
very
pleasure.
informative. So before we close, audience, thank you so much for your participation. Just for a reminding message today that there would be session 3 on 21st July, documenting and communicating assessment in foundational literacy and numeracy. And on 22nd July, also there would be a session, 4th session, on power of manipulatives in foundational literacy and numeracy. So we would request all of you to register yourself and take the benefits of the webinar. Next important thing is all the certificates will be sent to your registered email IDs once you submit your feedback form, and you will be receiving your feedback form on your registered email ID. Okay, so you will be receiving the link on the your email ID. So kindly fill up the form. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, team, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you.